It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go! Monday show, November 6, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, and the Fox local app if you are watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, hello, everybody. We'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and, of course, that like button. And I want to thank everybody who's been watching on YouTube over the last couple of months, specifically the last couple of weeks, because the numbers have been really good, and we really appreciate you guys doing that. Spread the word about Woodward Sports. We think we're providing some great content, great football content, great time of year. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, my friend. The sun is shining. I got my boy Maz back in the seat. Good to see you as well. We missed you fellas. Thursday and Friday. Good weekend. Got a chance to go over to Stick's house yesterday. Shout out to Sam Day, Woodward Sports Network. Got a new house in White Lake, man. It's a beautiful home, beautiful backyard, nice downstairs. And Woodward Sports was hanging out a little bit, man. So watched some sports, hung out with some family. It's a good weekend for me.
I love that. And as Braylon said, Tom Mazaway, welcome back to you. You are missed when you are not here in Jersey over the weekend for a family wedding. And Thursday and Friday, we felt your absence, sir.
Thanks, brothers. I missed you guys as well. I was very happy to be home with the family, and it was a great weekend. My niece, my goddaughter, Alex, got married. She's got a great husband in Nick, and it was awesome seeing everyone. Even family I haven't seen in years were at the wedding. Was at the wedding, and this place, man, this place was unbelievable. This was some party.
It was a Mazaway party.
It was.
The Mazaway party.
Bray, Maz calls me furious, not furious, but like hectic.
Right.
He got off the airplane this morning. He has been up since 4:30.
He was frazzled.
He's like, oh yeah, like somebody I know doesn't do that every
exactly.
day.
I said I was on your hour.
He calls me. He's like, I'm just getting off the plane. I'm getting in the car. I'm running late. What's going on today? I'm like, we're good. We got it. So he goes on and telling me about he's flying here, and the one daughter is flying to Grand Rapids, and one daughter flew back with him, and one daughter has to fly back tonight. I said, why didn't Lily fly back with you? He's like, well, she's coming back tonight at 8 o'clock. I got to pick her up at 11. This guy just gets screwed.
He does.
Even by his own kids.
It doesn't matter what I do.
Bray, let me tell you, when I
got
say,
a recommendation.
You almost had a heart attack.
When I say I almost choked, I was laughing, so I was eating a sandwich in my car.
Okay.
And when I say I nearly choked and died, I was laughing so hard because nobody gets screwed
more than
Tom. Jenna Jameson doesn't get screwed.
That's a fact.
Tom Mazaway gets screwed.
And it don't feel good either.
Oh my God!
First of all,
this guy.
First of all,
it was so funny, man.
Did you just pull out a Jenna Jameson reference? Oh my God!
Nobody gets screwed.
Yo,
Tom Mazaway.
show's over. Show's over already. No one. Jenna Jameson.
I went to the Jenna Jameson party for Super Bowl 40.
When you said like you're the only person that went to work that owes money after you leave, that's the funniest thing. But you gotta tell your daughter, look, now we're all going back at 11 o'clock. I don't want to hear any of this flying back late, man. You gotta put the foot down, man. You're the pops over there, big guy.
I know, brother.
You got to put the hammer down.
Tom Mazaway is the only person that can go to work and lose money.
Love those Sundays.
Play ball.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Oh, we got Parker here. Noah is with us today as well.
We got to get some insight into our little back and forth on Saturday.
Oh man. So Braylon texted me this weekend. The group.
We both had a couple.
Braylon loves JJ.
Well, Braylon likes to stick it to me.
Yeah.
About JJ McCarthy.
Pause.
My love for JJ McCarthy. So he says, don't come at me with this JJ going number one. And I know he's talking about Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams sucks. And this, that, and the other thing. He's going to be no good in the pros.
He sucks?
So we have this back and forth. And I'll tell you, I went hard at Braylon because you do not talk negatively about JJ McCarthy. Now,
it was one of those things. I appreciate it so much because it gives me insight to like when I was at Michigan, like probably the stuff you were saying about me until like
That's right.
It gave me
Still
insight,
saying it about you.
and that's why I appreciate it so much.
Still saying it about
But
you.
I also like going back and forth with you. It literally gives me joy.
So this was not planned now.
No, it wasn't.
But I'll go here.
Okay.
With it right now.
You've been thinking about this for 2 days.
No, I just thought about it right now.
All right,
actually earlier today. This is what I think.
Floor is yours.
Okay. I am going to retract my statement that J.J. McCarthy is going to be the number 1 pick in the draft.
It's retracted.
Seconded.
And the reason why I think that J.J. McCarthy will not be the number 1 pick in the draft is because I think he's coming back.
So you're doubling down.
I don't think J.J. McCarthy is going to leave Michigan next year. And part of the reason why is I think he is going to win the national championship this year.
I agree.
And next year, I think he's going to, with this NIL now, he can come back to Michigan and probably make upwards of about $5 million.
Yeah.
You know, if Shedeur Sanders is going to make about $10 million at Colorado next year, I guarantee you J.J. McCarthy can make around 5-ish with Michigan. And the way this whole season has gone and the way it's going right now, I do think Michigan wins the national championship this year. And if they lose, whatever. But that's just my opinion right now. I think they go on to win. And then I think he comes back and validates next season as well. And I just think that with that bridge year, they got Jaden Daniels coming in next year. Jaden Daniels is a freshman, let's be honest, is not going to be ready to play. I mean, Dante Moore, you see what he's doing at UC. Dante Moore can play. All these guys that are new starters, what are they?
He got benched, too.
Yeah, he got benched.
Yeah.
All these freshmen that are starters, they're redshirt freshmen.
True.
They're first-year starters. So Jaden Daniels is going to need another year. And I think Jim Harbaugh and J.J. McCarthy have such a thing. I think they enjoy each other so much. And if the money could get made, why not? I don't want to say have a coronation year, but you've got Penix, you've got Caleb Williams, you've got Bo Nix, you've got Drake May.
Yeah.
You could come back, make the $5 million ish, have a coronation year to the number 1 pick, and play it out through there. And you are that quarterback. You don't need that bridge quarterback transfer to Jaden Daniels. And then you can let Jaden Daniels learn under you. Yeah. I think JJ's coming back.
Yeah, I think Jaden Davis, right? The guy coming in next year.
Jaden Davis, not Jaden Daniels. Thank you.
No, you're absolutely correct. So you dodged the this year question. That's fine. I agree with everything you said. I mean, you look at Harbaugh has kind of become like Tom Izzo in a sense of football in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. His players like to play that 4th year. They like to play that 5th year. They like to find reasons to stay and get their PhD, their masters. Excuse me, not their masters, but get their next level. So they stay because they love the atmosphere. They stay because they love Harbaugh. Like Harbaugh brings them into that environment, and they get there, and then they feel like part of the family. You don't want to leave your family. It's the same thing in Michigan State. Like guys get to Michigan State, they get in there under Tom Izzo. I used to say it's like encampment for 4 years. Yeah, you're not allowed to leave. But you find out from these players that they love their time in East Lansing. I think that's what's happening in Michigan right now. These players are loving to play at Harbaugh. They're loving the atmosphere. They're loving winning. Winning hasn't been a part of Michigan on this level for a very long time, maybe ever, if you will. So I think you're right about that. Blake Corum came back. You know, he's making more money in the NIL situation. And I think also next year you line it up again. Now J.J. McCarthy is definitely going to be in the top 3. Mm-hmm. Now J.J. McCarthy and Shedeur Sanders are probably going to the season 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And he literally knows he's going 1 or he's going 2 or maybe he gets 3, as opposed to a crapshoot. Same thing I told you about me when I was coming out in the NFL all the time. You send that information in, and the NFL sends you hey, this is the highest you can go, the lowest you can go. When I sent mine in, it said the highest my junior year, 11. Mm-hmm. The lowest was 42. Too much of a discrepancy. I was not trying to get drafted in the 2nd round. And if he sends that in, he might get a similar thing where it's like, you can go as high as 3, but you can mess around and go as low as first pick of the 2nd round. I will come back too.
Very true.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my take. First of all, it all depends on what the heck happens here in the next few weeks into next year. Okay, I would say that. How about I give you this? It's tough to pass up the NFL, okay? And we all know the Bears are going to have 2 of the top 5 picks for sure. I won't say, I'm not jinxing it, but if Harbaugh has had enough, maybe he goes finally to the Bears and they draft J.J. McCarthy.
I consider that if Harbaugh becomes an NFL coach, would there be a possibility of getting J.J. to come with him? I consider that too. But
I hope it doesn't happen. I hope he gets a lifetime contract.
Yeah.
I hope all this goes away.
Right.
But, there's a lot out there.
I just don't think that's going to happen. And can you imagine, Braylon, you've been there.
Yeah.
Still to this day, you get perks being a former Michigan athlete from 20 years ago. Not to age you. But can you imagine how much money a J.J. McCarthy return to Michigan could net him if he wins the national championship too?
You're taking it up a level. I mean, you're talking about in the state of Michigan. You know, there are big brands here in the state of Michigan. You got the automotive industry. You got Rocket Mortgage. You got people are coming into the city now more than ever. Like, you get a national championship on the heels of being a Heisman finalist. Let's say a Heisman finalist. Lord willing, you win the Heisman and the national championship. You come back, everybody wants to put you on the billboard. Everybody wants a sponsorship. Everybody wants to partner with you to do something. It's almost to the T. Could be a little bit overwhelming, but luckily he has Jim Harbaugh there to kind of help him through that process. But the money will be endless. Like the places that were coming for him. This is University of Michigan brand as well. Hey, you come back, you're talking about maybe upwards of $10 million before he's finished his senior year.
And not only that, Bray, but this is a man's league. The NFL is a man's league. And J.J. McCarthy is 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know, he's a baby. He's just 20. Now, I don't think you need to be 24 or 25 like Michael Penix or Bo Nix or Hendon Hooker or any of these guys. But nonetheless, another year of development could benefit him immensely over the course of his career. And I do think now there is a consideration because of NIL that, you know what, if you want to stay in college, if you want to develop more, if you just want to enjoy that last year of eligibility, just come back and you can make your money. And
then also his fine-tuned game isn't finely tuned yet. And this is nothing negative against him. He's having his best season ever. His efficiency is off the charts. But his game is going to evolve because the one thing, he doesn't use his legs right now. Jim Harbaugh doesn't get him out of the pocket. That's one of the things that endeared us to him in the beginning, how fast he was. So once he starts to figure out his game and being able to throw on the run, then he'll be able to figure out, you know what, I'm going to take a run here. I'm going to pass the ball here. Then he can become a leader in the huddle. There's things that he can say, that, hey, you know what, we'll tweak this. Roman, why don't you do this? He's still figuring out who he is as a player, and that's actually the scary thing, Ryan Ermanni. So another year I think definitely will benefit him tonight and going into the NFL and becoming a leader and being of men.
No doubt about it. You know, our good friend Cody Engel in the WoodwardSports.com chat says, would it be more than a top 5 draft pick and a signing bonus? And the answer is no, Cody. But again, are you going to be a top 5 pick? Are you going to be a top 10 pick? Are you going to be a top 20 pick? You know, Jackson Smith and Jigba got $14 million over 4 years. Yeah. If you can make $5 million, $5 to $7 million in year one, maybe. Guys, we're going to take a break. Michigan had a visitor today, and it wasn't the NCAA. We'll tell you who that was coming up first. But first, a message from Dispo.
That's right. Dispo Romeo, your local plug, and now open till midnight. Michigan's largest cannabis mall. 21 up. You have to be recreation only. But outside of that, they got the best brands and the best people doing it, whether it's Hyman, whether it's Runts, it doesn't matter. Also, best ways, flour, oil, we got it all. Edibles, too. Dispo Romeo, Michigan's largest cannabis mall.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Hey, gang, for over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the Steak Shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. Michigan, Penn State this weekend. Lions, Chargers. Grab your steaks. Grill out this weekend. It's going to be a nice weekend in the 50s.
Can't wait.
Get those grills going and get your Fairway Packing steaks or pork chops, whatever you choose. You can order online if you can't go in person. Go to this website, fairwaypacking.com, fairwaypacking.com, and you can order your food today for the weekend. Get it going, fairwaypacking.com.
Prime cut, aged, packed, sourced to perfection.
Hey, gang, welcome back. Just having a conversation about J.J. McCarthy. Braylon and I had a back and forth this weekend about J.J. You do not talk negatively about J.J. McCarthy.
It's all about Caleb.
It got me to thinking this weekend. I am growing more in the camp of I think JJ comes back this year. And among them is just the fact that he's 20 years old. He's having so much fun playing at Michigan this year. Next year, you talk about these big games of Texas and USC and Oregon and Michigan State at home. Then you get to go back on the road and play Ohio State in Columbus. J.J. McCarthy is on the cusp, if he's not already. But J.J. McCarthy is on the cusp, Braylon, of being the greatest quarterback in the history of Michigan football. He's already climbing up the list. I think this is a situation where you combine that with where he is in the pantheon of Michigan quarterbacks, the numerical list, the money that he can make, the question marks about the NFL draft. Would he be a top 10 pick? Would he be a top 20 pick? Because, if you're the number 2 pick in the draft, you know what you get? Number 2 pick in the draft, you get $23 million signing bonus and a $36 million over 4 years. Yep. If you're the 20th pick in the draft, you get a $7 million signing bonus in 4 years, $14 million.
Big difference.
That's a huge difference. So you in the relationship between Harbaugh and McCarthy, you combine all that together, and I am thinking that JJ comes back. And not only that, I think he comes back with Donovan Edwards too.
Yeah, that's a good point. What makes people leave and go to the NFL? What makes people leave to go to professional sports or the NFL is wanting to change the situation for your family, wanting to change the situation for yourself, not being able to handle college life. Maybe you don't like class. Maybe it was a struggle for you to get the grades in class. I mean, that used to be a thing, not so much anymore. But it's things like that that force you to look like, maybe I should leave. Maybe it is time. And also, Ryan, it's when you don't finish business. One of the main reasons I came back, myself, Marlon Jackson, first round, Dave Boss was the first pick of the second round. We all went in the 05 draft. One of the reasons why we came back, we never won the Rose Bowl, which means we didn't win the national championship. We won the Big Ten, but then we went to the Rose Bowl and got cracked by USC. Part of the reason why I wanted to come back, I wanted to win the Rose Bowl, which back in the day, that meant
that
more.
Was the thing,
That was the Rose Bowl. It's even in our damn song. So I wanted to win the Rose Bowl. I wanted to win the national title. And also, Ryan, you just said it, I wanted to break AC's records. I wanted to break Desmond Howard's records. Like, I wanted, when I left the institution, that my name would be on the top of those walls. Next to it would say Big Ten champ, Rose Bowl champ, national champ. And then when you look a little further down, I had all the records wide receiver. I accomplished one, didn't get the others, but that was one of the major driving forces. I had 4 parents, so it wasn't up there like I was broke and, I really needed to get to the league so I could change that. I was doing all right. 4 parents, they all had jobs, come from good upbringing. I enjoyed class. I enjoyed the experience on Michigan campus. Like, it was fun. Like, I know they're winning now, but it wasn't fun like it was when I was up there. A lot of fun. So these are factors that allow you to come back. And if you line JJ up, His family's fine. He's fine. The money he's been able to make. He's a leader. He loves being in Michigan. You can see it in the smile. He's a junior. He's close to those records that Chad Henne now owns. And also he's right there knocking at the national championships door as well as potentially the Heisman. That's a reason to come back. And so you might absolutely have something with that. And Maz, what you said, it lines up perfectly with that, depending on how this plays out too.
How much NIL would you have made?
At least $1 million, I'd say. And mind you,
now?
that's back then. No, now.
Oh, yeah. So if you're talking back then,
I'm
probably
talking
like
20 years ago.
Probably like 1.5
Which probably
to 2.
would have been
Like now,
equivalent to
probably
about
like 8.
Yeah, 5 to 8.
Yeah, I had connections, family,
Yeah.
friends. I'm from here. I'm a city kid. I'm from Detroit.
Man.
Like I'm able to.
And you're
my
a top
dad-
5
my-
pick.
Yeah,
You're a
I
top
know.
5 pick to come back.
I know.
You know,
This is
you
true.
got to use that as leverage
It's after,
too.
too.
You know, I'm going to go to the league.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the league. And Donovan Edwards needs to do it too. And if you're Donovan Edwards, that's another part of this whole thing.
Haven't heard much about him this year.
Well, he's having an okay year.
Yeah.
You know, he's having an okay year. They got Caleb Mullings now working. I think his name Caleb
Yeah, Mullins.
Mullings.
Yeah, he was a converted linebacker.
Yeah,
last year.
but go ahead.
And I just wanted to jump in and say something real quick. Is you know what they can do, and I'm just spitballing on the spot. We didn't have this type of leverage back in the day. They got leverage nowadays, Ryan and Monty. What's to stop JJ from going in the office and talking to Ward Manuel, well, a lot, but we're talking to Ward Manuel or talking to the Regents and striking the deal. Hey, I'll come back next year. I'll come back my senior year. But if I'm coming back, you guys have to facilitate at least $5 million worth of deals.
Right.
And also set yourself for the future with things that you want to do with the representation. Tell, hey, if I come back for my senior year, I want to be able to be on this board. I want to be able to have a suite for life for my family. Like negotiate.
Right.
Because we are now in a space where college has become like the NFL, where your leverage is real and you can have conversations.
You know, if you're Donovan Edwards, you really have an opportunity as well to almost make more money if you stay at Michigan.
Yeah.
And now with all these running back situations, you get one contract maybe before somebody wants to throw you out.
This is real.
You could potentially make much more money at Michigan than on your rookie contract. Or, is he going to be a first-round pick,
And
Donovan Edwards?
No, I don't think so. Not as
Probably not.
Yeah,
now.
he's probably floating around 4th round right now. But that's the other thing, Ryan. He doesn't take a lot of hits. He hasn't taken a lot of hits because he hasn't taken a ton of snaps. So it's not like you're risking coming back. Whereas Blake Corum had a lot of snaps on him already, and then he came back to be the starting running back again. Donovan Edwards won't have that many snaps on him after his junior year.
Is Cornelius Johnson a fourth-year senior or fifth-year senior? Do we know? Because
say 4th.
Yeah, because I mean, if you can come back with Cornelius Johnson, Samaj Morgan, Colston Loveland, and Donovan Edwards, you got something there.
And you got the wide receiver Nick Holt maybe coming here too.
Yeah, I mean, you got something there. There's the makings of another really good year, and again for Michigan, the season starts today. By the way, today, Jim Harbaugh had a visitor from an old friend. Parker, let everybody know who was here for Jim Harbaugh today.
It's already sky high. Got a visit from the Nature Boy, Rick Flair, very close friend. That just brought the enthusiasm to a new level.
That was Isaiah Hole, the Twitter of Isaiah Hole. So the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, came to visit Harbaugh today. And the first, I would say, 5 to 7 minutes of the press conference today was devoted to Ric Flair and how they became friends over the years. And it dates back to 1989 when he played for the Chicago Bears. One of his teammates was a huge wrestling fan and said, hey, would you like to go see the match with Ric Flair tonight? And Harbaugh's like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And ever since then, they've been boys. They've been tight. They got to go backstage, and they met everybody, and the rest is history. So the first 7 minutes of the press conference today devoted to Ric Flair. Woo!
Well, that's a lot more upbeat than what's been happening, right?
Yeah, 2 things about that are great. One, Jim Harbaugh is a professional troll now. Like, I'm convinced of it, and I absolutely love it. The fact that he had Ric Flair in and talked about it. Ric Flair is known for what, man? He's a cheating son, SOB. Like, that's Ric Flair. So that's definitely troll on his part. kudos to him. But that's what sport does, Ryan. Like, you have these weird overlapping relationships that you make that you never known you would have had. Being in New York, playing for the Jets, a lot of Jets fans. I know Giants have more, but a lot of people are Jets fans. I used to hang out with Vin Diesel. You would never expect me to say, like, Vin Diesel, the Fast and Furious. Nah, he was a cool dude, Jet guy, very, like, man of few words, but it's like sport. You overlap with so many random people. But I love this trolling by Jim Harbaugh. 7 minutes to open on purpose. It's great.
It was pretty good. And there wasn't much addressed. Michigan's just not going to comment. The only person that is doing the commenting really is Santa Ono, the president, who I tweeted out over the weekend. I think Santa Ono is already the greatest president in the history of Michigan, the University of Michigan. The reputation and livelihoods of coaches, students, and programs cannot be sacrificed in a rush to judgment, no matter how many and how loudly people protest. Otherwise, due process matters. He does not want to hear anything about the Big Ten levying some suspension over Jim Harbaugh without due process. And I believe it's Santa Ono's position and the regents of the University of Michigan's position that they have talked to Jim Harbaugh, and they are comfortable with what he says. He did not know about what was going on. And the outside world could say whatever they want, and they're not going to believe anything. They have their beliefs about Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, and they're going to stay that way. But Santa Ono believes Jim Harbaugh had nothing to do with this, and he's going to back him. Whatever that means. Whatever that means, he's going to back him. And the University of Michigan is more together. And if there's one thing that you have to respect about Michigan, they are together. President, regents, athletic director, head coach, everybody together on this.
Yeah, you know what? People have never liked Michigan because of their arrogance, because of what they presumed about the institution or the people that went to the institution. That's fine. Now they will never believe anything that comes out of football or any sports because of this, and that's fine too. Like Santa Ono said, trust, due process. So now it is our job to let that process play out. As it relates to Santa Ono, can you imagine Mark Schlissel was the president through the situation?
No.
Could you imagine if Mark Schlissel was up there babbling around and stuttering? When you have a united front, it makes institutions like NCAA, who no longer have any power, it makes them sit back. They can't take charge. They can't listen to all these people, all these naggers on social media, all this social justice, if you will.
All they do is nag, 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 nag,
exactly.
nag, nag, nag.
But when you got a president who is standing in line with the AD, who is standing in line with the regents, who are standing in line with the head coach, you ain't got nothing coming.
Right.
So now that silences all this dumb stuff until due process plays out and the NCAA comes back, and whenever they do, tell us what they have. Santa Ono, and that's why I like that tweet, because I absolutely agree. I love Mary Sue Coleman, but it wasn't nothing like what he's doing right now in a new space for him.
And I love Lee Bollinger. Lee, you're my guy. You're my guy. Yeah. But Santa Ono is next level. Guys, Ryan Day responded to a question about his brother and the PI firm. Going to let you hear what he said about that. Also, there was a football game, believe it or not, on Saturday night. We'll touch on that. We'll do Lions, hour number 2. Lots going on there. Lots of good news regarding the Detroit Lions. We'll fill you in on that coming up as well. But first, a message from Tom Mazaway and Big Boy.
Oh, how about it? It's a new time at Big Boy right now. It's wintertime in Detroit. It's always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan. That sounds awesome right about now. Or the Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. If you want to start your day off, start it off with a great breakfast. The stuffed potato pancakes are back. The classic lumberjack, the Santa Fe Garden. Also, the new apple pie hotcakes are too good to miss. Top it all off with a new gingerbread shake for dessert. You know it. Big Boy. Stop by him right now at your local Big Boy.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. You can drink it. You can live it. Purchase a 24-pack today from your local Meijer. The $100,000 Vegas getaway, you can register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, be the best version of yourself with Cintron. So go to drinkcintron.com/Vegas for that $100,000 Vegas getaway.
Hey gang, welcome back. Hour number 2 of the program. We appreciate you watching on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. We are less than 200 subscribers away from 55,000. If you could grab that share tab, share it to your social media, the Woodward Sports tab on YouTube. Tell all your friends about Woodward Sports. We think we're providing the best football coverage, especially over the next couple of months, man. I'm telling you, this is going to be a great time of year in Michigan and the Lions. And if you could, hit that like button as well. It helps YouTube push our content out to more people. Braylon Edwards, we are discussing this Michigan situation. And look, one of the things that I don't think I'm interested in doing is diving in and out of every rumor that we hear. Because at this point, like the great John U. Bacon says, nobody knows nothing at all. Except we know that Santa Ono has a letter into the Big Ten president.
Right.
And we read that for you in the last segment. But there is a lot of smoke or a lot of chatter with Ryan Day and Ryan Day's involvement into this investigation. I want to play this video for you now. This is from Twitter. This is Woods Football on Twitter on X at Woods Football. This is the video obtained interview with Ryan Day. Here you go.
Your reaction to the reports that are out that maybe Ohio State, and you in particular, or maybe someone close to you, turned Michigan in?
Yeah, no comments right now.
What do you make of all of the speculation that you had any involvement or your family had any involvement in the Michigan investigation? Do you have any comment? Yeah, I'm not going to have any comment on that. A simple no would have probably sufficed. A simple no. Look, I don't have anything to do with that. My family has nothing to do with that. I have no idea what you're talking about. This guy's a liar.
Jim Stapleton said he had nothing to do with it. At least he said, I got nothing to do with it.
Right.
This guy said nothing.
Right. Jim Stapleton, who, said he was accused of being the leaker from the NCAA, says, I am not that guy. You're going to hear from my lawyer.
Exactly. It's like, hey,
you're going to hear from my
knock it
lawyer.
off.
No, it's not me.
Right.
Yeah, that's absolutely real.
Ryan Day's a liar.
He's definitely a liar. And look, I was up in Ann Arbor, like I told you last week. I had dinner with the sports conference. Santa Ono was there. We talked to some other people that were there, some regents. They had, like I said, it was 2 rooms going on. There was our room, the sports conference, and then there was the next room, and that was the regents in Santa Ono. It was the powerhouses. What I got out of the regents that I do know, no names, if I got out of the regents that I do know, there's a lot of things going on. And there's like, when it all comes together, it's going to be very interesting. And so that's why now when you see stuff like Ryan Day and him saying, he didn't even say no comment or no, or I don't know anything, or I'm not going to talk about that. Why not?
Right, why not?
So at the end of the day, that's why now you hit the nail on the head. Stop diving in and out of every rumor that we hear, unless it's something like that, which is new. Stop diving in and out because there's nothing to talk about. We're going to talk ourselves till we're blue in the face trying to defend things that we don't know or try to argue over things that we don't know. So, till all the facts come out, needs to be all about football in Ann Arbor.
Let's face it, guys. There's so much out there. And here I am in New Jersey on Friday. Just picked up my tux. Had to stop and get a slice of pizza.
Of course you did.
Of course.
What spot?
I stopped at Ray's in Cedar Grove, which is very, very good.
Good cheese pie.
Excellent cheese pie. The only pie that there is. Anyway, I'm there and I see Ryan. You know, I'm still set the show up for you guys. So I see Ryan text us, and he gives the Wolverine, and they're looking into who the hell is the leak, where did it come from, and I couldn't stop looking for this stuff. I got to get to a wedding in like 2 hours, and I'm concentrating on, and I'm calling Ryan, and you guys, you're at Dispo, and I'm just trying to find out. There's so much out there, but it bothers me. It bothers me because there are so many people out there that say, we caught you. You're caught. We got you. We got you. I don't even know. I don't know how to respond to it anymore. It's just so much. I'm overwhelmed with it. I'm sick of it, and it's taken away from a great season. That's what bothers me the most. I don't know what they did, and if they did what they said they did, if Connor Stallions did what he did, and he had his people, he had his stallions out there looking at games, and you're not allowed to do that, then I guess it's going to come out, and we'll eventually see what the hell's going on. But they're still so much better than those other teams that they're beating. It just bugs me. It takes away from a really great season.
You're absolutely right. They have shade. They have puts the shade tree on the season.
Yeah.
And that, but man, I'm gonna answer one question. And I'm not gonna touch on the last thing you said. At the end of the day, what you said is right. We gotta wait and see what happens. If something happens, it comes out proving collusion. Hey, you know what it is. What it is. We gotta take the L. But as it relates to why all of this information is coming out, it's no secret that the Big Ten is not the only conference that doesn't like Michigan. Michigan for years, just the pompous attitude, just the eliteness. This is what Michigan is. Even when they got bad seasons, they still talk about us when we're down. We're always it's like the Dallas Cowboys.
Sure.
Like you're tired of hearing about Dallas Cowboys, but they talk whether they're good or bad. It's the same thing. It's tired people. It's a lot of people couldn't get in an institution. Like couldn't get in, wanted to go to Michigan. Couldn't get in the institution. Never even thought about it. Also, they don't like Jim Harbaugh. Like they never liked Michigan. But when Jim Harbaugh got there, it changed with Jim Harbaugh. They did not like Jim Harbaugh. Won't talk to everybody. They didn't like the quirkiness about him. So it's like one of those things where when you finally have an opportunity, where there's a little window, you can get inside and throw shade on somebody you've never liked or an institution or a thing that you've never liked, you're going to do it. And that's why everybody's coming out of Woodward with some type of information or this or bashing or this, that, and the third. They're trying to compile because they were waiting for the day. They were waiting for the day where you could say Michigan was something negative about Michigan, and it might be true. Everybody has been waiting for this day for a very long time. That is not named University of Michigan.
I saw some kids, they all had Penn State gear on today at Newark Airport. And I see them in line. I'm like, hey, we got you this weekend. We'll play. You're a Michigan guy? You're a Michigan guy? Oh, you guys are a bunch of cheaters. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. I'm like... Say what you want, man. We're still going to trash your team. But what bothers me is if these teams all knew, which they say they did, remember it goes back to the Rutgers, Greg Schiano. Something's fishy out there. So we know something's going on. Well, then change your effing signs. And guess what? You'll have the advantage. Or bring your quarterback to the sidelines that Michigan State did and give him the freaking play then. And then none of this means anything if you are smart enough to one-up the team that you think is cheating.
Here, let me play conspiracy theorist for 1 second. And it's really not conspiracy theorist, but at the same time, hear me out. Out of all coaches and all teams in the Big Ten to be the first to break Spygate, or not even the Big Ten, because if Sonny Dykes, who allegedly saw something last year, why the hell didn't he say? Why was the first coach to say something about Michigan, something fishy going on? How was he directly related to Ohio State and Ryan Day and Urban Meyer? Greg Schiano.
Facts.
Like, how is it Greg Schiano?
Yeah.
Like, let's just all play stupid for a second. How was it Greg Schiano, known friend, known former coach at Ohio State, same staff as Urban Meyer, Ryan Day as well? It's him that comes out. Like, it's very fishy. Then you have Ryan Day can't answer a simple question.
Right.
Like, it's just why him?
I will say this too,
Like,
Maz.
if it was Matt Rule, I'd be like, okay, it's Matt Rule. Let's see, Matt Rule just got to the doggone, to the Big Ten. Let's see who go. Schiano, of all people?
Yeah.
Come on.
I will say this to your point about the noise. It bothered me for a week, and now it doesn't anymore. Because I know now that Michigan, whatever people think Michigan was doing or whatever they were doing, they can't do it anymore. Michigan has not played anybody this year. They are 9-0. They have not played a team that's run one play inside the 10-yard line.
Wow.
Not once in 9 games has a team had it first and goal inside the 10. That is incredible. And I'll tell you, Connor Stallions is not responsible for that. This Michigan football team is as good as anybody in the country. And I got news for you. Connor Stallions is not worth 21 points, 28 points. He's just not. I'm comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable knowing that. And even more, this came out in early October, or at least mid-October. Penn State has had over a month by the time they played to change their signs. Ohio State has had over a month and a half to change their signs. And you know what we did at Grosse Pointe South High School? We sucked, by the way. They're good now. We sucked when I played. In my 4 years on varsity, we were 2-7, 2-7, 2-7, 5-4. And you know what we did every week?
Lose?
We changed our signs.
Oh, okay.
Every single week in high school. So if the mighty Penn State or the mighty Ohio State University cannot figure out a way to change their signs, that's not on us. That's on you. I was watching the Georgia game this weekend, and the Georgia game, there was like 4 players on the sidelines, and they had this big sheet. It was like a bed sheet. They had their signs, the people standing in front of the signs. And why did they do that? Because Michigan's not the only team that tries to get an advantage. They're just not. They had a bed sheet. And I was going to take a picture of it and tweet it out, and then I was like, you know what? Screw it.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that Georgia game. If you could find the raw footage of it, you can't miss it. It's like this sheet that's covering the players giving the signs. And they're doing it not because Connor Stallions is there. Block out the noise.
Connor Stallions isn't going to be on the sideline anymore, so you don't even have to worry
Yeah.
about anyone giving those signs to the staff, to the coordinators, or the head coach.
Block out the noise, Maz. And look, and even the reporting on it, that he got fired and all this stuff. He got fired. He did not get fired. He resigned, and it was the dutiful thing to do.
It's okay if he got fired.
He did not get fired.
I'm just saying, I don't care either way.
I'm not saying he got fired because he resigned. And he resigned because it was the right thing to do. Because Connor Stallion, we were talking more about... It
doesn't matter, though, man. If he got fired, it looks weird.
If he resigned because his name was being talked about more than anybody on the Michigan football team. More than Blake Corum, more than J.J. McCarthy, more than Ermanni and Edwards, more than anybody.
New Mexico State scoreboard operator put up Connor Stallions was here. They were losing by 50 points at the time. They put it up on the scoreboard, New Mexico State. I mean, his name is everywhere.
I just laughed.
I'm never going to forget his name.
I just laughed at the fact that you can be losing by 50 points and then crack a joke.
Yes.
Right? It is, the only joke is that ass whooping you took. Like,
yes, that's right.
You need to relax with that.
That's right. I mean,
Counter Stallions is here. The team wasn't.
I said the same thing.
I'll tell you this much. Guardian Alarm won't be able to protect Penn State this weekend because, Guardian Alarm might be able to because they can protect you. They've been around for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equipment Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located in Ferndale on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, look no further than Les Stanford Chevy Cadillac in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. You can find the brand you want, all GM brands, now under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new road.
Find them. Guys, welcome back. We'll talk Lions in top of hour number 2. Some Lions news to get to and some positive Lions news to get to coming up at the top of the hour. But I did want one more segment with Michigan, if I could. Guys, the Big Ten is as bad as I have ever seen it. Purdue is terrible. Nebraska is terrible. Michigan State is terrible. Minnesota is terrible. Iowa is terrible.
Maryland.
Iowa and Northwestern was 0-0 at the half. Like, you can't even pretend to be this is absurd how bad this conference is. And you can talk about USC all you want. I think USC is going to come in here and suck next year with no Caleb Williams and no defense. I mean, I don't think you're going to get much help from USC next year if you think this is going to be some, the USC's coming. They fired their defensive coordinator. The Big Ten, I've never – and by the way, let me tell you this too. Penn State sucks.
Yeah.
Their defense might be okay. Penn State sucks too. And Ohio State is just okay.
100% Ohio State is just okay. I can't wait till November 25th. I can't wait till this weekend as well because Penn State, young team with your Ryan Ermanni, don't seem to have it on offense. Michigan's going to steamroll them as well. Big Ten's been bad, and it's getting progressively worse. Like over the last 3 years, look, Michigan can't help that this is the contenders in their conference. Ohio State can't help that these are the contenders in their conference. That's why that game against Ohio State and Georgia last year was so pivotal because it still shows you how damn good those two teams are, at least the Big Ten, talking about Michigan and Ohio State. But I don't necessarily know when it's going to change. Because you can say NIL and that's happened already. You can say transfer portal. Like, all this stuff is happening. So if anything, these institutions should be getting better. Maybe they need to learn how to work the NIL and the transfer portal a little bit better. But as it relates to Matt Rule in Nebraska, Ryan and I was having this funny argument, funny conversation. Maz, you would appreciate this. You know what my favorite quarterback is? Warren Moon. So my dad, Warren Moon, and a bunch of his former teammates, Uncle Jamie was in there, Jamie Williams, went to Nebraska. So we're all in this group chat, and they're arguing over Matt Rule. And Warren's like, listen, Rome wasn't built in a day. You got to give him more than 8 games. We'll see. And, and somebody comes in with somebody, and somebody comes in with something. I'm just enjoying it all. I mean, I'm like, these are the OGs. I'm going to go ahead and let them talk. But finally, I said something. I said, Nebraska will never be the same because they left the Big 12. Back when Nebraska was good, you had a lot of their talent came from Oklahoma, came from Texas. When you got them to Nebraska and there's no more Texas and now they're in the Big 10, kids from Texas will go to Nebraska just because they were playing Texas A&M. They were playing Texas. They were playing Oklahoma. They're playing Oklahoma State, Baylor, and TCU. So you get to come home and you still get to be a part of a great institution, which is Nebraska. Now, who the hell want to leave Texas and go play Rutgers? Who the hell want to leave Oklahoma and go play Northwestern or go to or outside of Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan? Why would I leave Texas or Oklahoma or Florida or anywhere warm to go to Nebraska, which used to be a powerhouse with Tommy Frazier and then the coach, Tom Olson? Why would I go to play and get blew out by Michigan, get blown out by Ohio State, get blown out by Penn State, and play all those bum teams? I'm cool. I'll stay here down south.
Hey, man. I'll bring it up. When I was a kid, Nebraska was it.
They were.
It was Nebraska, Oklahoma.
Tom Osborne.
Yes, of course. Nebraska, Oklahoma was on Thanksgiving Day, for crying out loud. One of the greatest games of all time back in, 71. Well, I'm just telling you, they were on top of the world. Johnny Rogers, all of these great names that come in. I Am Hip. You can go on and on and on with the great players that came out of Nebraska. I actually feel bad for them, but I think they got the right coach in Matt Rule. I don't know what he could bring over there as far as getting players over there with NIL and all of this around, especially now with the Big Ten getting all these new teams, really top-of-the-line teams. I don't see how a team like Nebraska, Indiana, Illinois, Northwestern,
Rutgers, Maryland,
how could they compete?
Purdue.
How could they compete?
Even Wisconsin. I mean,
no, Whiskey will be all right.
I mean,
they got a good coach. Luke Fickell's going to be good. They're going to be good again. Iowa, Kirk Ferentz. I mean,
it's beyond me how bad the Big Ten is. I think Michigan State. If Michigan State doesn't get the right coach, and by the right coach I mean Urban Meyer, it might be over for them. It might be.
It's bad. It's looking bad.
The Big Ten's so bad. I just don't. And the thing about it, I don't see any of the teams getting better. And I don't understand. I don't have the answers. I don't have all the answers, Sway, like Kanye said. But I don't see it getting any better.
Pause.
Like none of those teams look good. None of those teams are getting better. None of those teams.
And none of those teams have great coaches either.
They don't.
Like, who? You couldn't even tell me who the coach at Illinois is right now.
No, I
Bo
couldn't.
Pelini.
Is it?
That's the only one I know because he's from Nebraska.
You couldn't tell me who the coach at Northwestern is. You couldn't tell me who the coach at Purdue is. You couldn't tell me.
I could because he's got a big mouth.
Well, okay. Who's the coach at Indiana or Maryland?
Well, Indiana's still got Tom.
Okay, who's the head coach at Maryland?
Maryland.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's the big guy.
It's fine.
The big guy. That ain't his name.
I know.
But again, you
who's
couldn't.
the coach at Michigan State? If you don't live here, you wouldn't know.
Remember when everybody was making fun of me when I said 3-9 for the season?
Yeah.
Who's laughing? Anybody laughing now at me?
We both said.
I did think MSU was going to play hard. I didn't think they were good. Well, it was their last game at Spartan Stadium, and they get the Black Friday game against Penn State.
And Nebraska needed to win that game to win the Big Ten West.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
now it goes to Iowa.
Oh.
Iowa has scored 81 points this year.
Oh.
81.
It's so crazy. Like,
that's pathetic.
We were trying to figure that out. It was a couple weeks ago. We were trying to figure out who Michigan would potentially play the Big Ten. We were trying to figure. I'm like
Iowa.
I was like, it can't be Iowa. They lost by 37.
Yeah.
To Wisconsin.
Michigan is a 6-point favorite this weekend. Ohio State is a 31-point favorite over MSU.
That's been bet down to 3.5. The Michigan game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's easy money.
That's a lock.
Yeah, that's easy money.
Oh my gosh, so good. Yeah, I wanted to make a point about that Big Ten, and good for Michigan. The Michigan players on the field, by the way, they come out and they looked a little sluggish. I think they did look a little sluggish this week after the bye week, but traditionally after a bye, teams do look sluggish, especially you got to wait all that night until night and you're playing another crap team.
I want to watch Michigan in this Penn State game.
This is it. Season starts Saturday.
It's going to be a real game, and the reason why is because I got to see intern Alex, by the way, on Saturday.
I saw that. Great
Ran
picture.
into him at Prime Eatery. Good to see you, Alex. Hung out for a second. But we talked about it. Asked him, we said, is there anything about Purdue that could give Michigan problems? We know they're going to be. Is there anything? And he said that, you know what, the defensive line of Purdue is not that bad. I think they rank 18th, he said, in sacks. And I think they rank like 20th in total, in just total stats, whatever it was. That defensive line for Purdue, and it was off a bye week, they gave that line some problems. And then another question I've been asking, it's about the run game. Like Blake Corum came back, you know he's off a knee surgery. He comes into the season, he's the number one running back coming in the country. They just can't seem to really get the running game going. Like they make plays, they score enough points. But we're not talking about comparing it to playing against the teams they're playing now. I'm talking about when you play Ohio State. I'm talking about when you play in the semifinals, and the finals potentially. So I really want to see them get the run game established back in the trenches. Because when they dominated Ohio State the last 2 years, it was in the trenches on both sides where Michigan was stout. I want to see a little bit more of that.
No doubt. I do as well. And it is curious that Michigan plays their first true road test too against a good team. Ohio State they have at home. This is the one road game Michigan plays this year.
Who's after this game?
Home against Maryland. Or no, is it home against Maryland or at Maryland?
Home Maryland. No, at Maryland home.
At Maryland, home against Ohio State.
Yeah, because they had all those home games at the beginning of the year.
At Penn State, home at Penn State, at Maryland, home against Ohio State.
Almost identical to last year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Didn't they finish like that way last year?
They did.
They typically always have either Rutgers or Maryland in that buffer row.
Yeah.
Because they stopped playing Indiana because Indiana started playing tough defense about 5 years ago. So either Rutgers or Maryland will always be in that slot.
Yeah.
You really believe that they'll dominate Penn State?
I do.
Why?
Because I think Michigan is elite up front. I think Michigan has an elite quarterback. They have an elite running back, and they have elite playmakers compared to what Penn State does.
But Penn State does have a good defense.
They have a good defense, but I don't think they've been tested this year either. Ohio State is the only team that they've played, Penn State, that could match any sort of roster position for position with Michigan.
And they held them to 20, so.
Yeah, but that was like a BS 22. That was a late 20. I mean, it was like I don't think Ohio State's that good either, by the way.
No, they're not. I agree with you.
I
was saying like Penn State held them to 20.
I feel like this is a 31-13 game.
Wow.
Michigan.
Okay.
I think it's a blowout.
I hope you're right.
I think so. I hope I'm right too.
This game can go one of two ways. Both wins by Michigan. I think if Penn State's going to come out. It's the whiteout. It's the energy. It's their chance to stick it to Michigan. Blah blah blah. So they're going to come out hard. If Michigan takes that first punch in the first quarter, and spits like that's all you got, it could be even more than what you say. But if they start slow, they allow the crowd to stay in it. Lord willing, they get a turnover. Like it's going to be those ugly games that come down to the top of the fourth. Not the whole fourth, but top of the fourth.
Lions, baby. Let's get to them next. But first, the message from Swiss.
Swiss Insurance. Do you have football on the brain? Fall ushers in college and professional sports, and this year is going to be awesome. Fall also is a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today, or you can email them at Swiss or go to swissins.com or call them at 248-800-4177. That number again, 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance, they're covering us, so they should be covering you too.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Time to come inside and play a little bit of golf at 5 Iron Golf, downtown Detroit, the Cambria Hotel. Practice, party, and play. They want you to come down and hang out. They also have instructors on site so you can get better as you have some drinks and enjoy that time with your family. Bring your friends, party, get it in. And on Thursday, we do the Woodward Sports Golf League 5 to 7. Come down, and then also it's Thursday Night Football. Have a good time. 5 Iron Golf, downtown, the Cambria Hotel.
Hey, gang, welcome back. Hour number 2 of the program. Having a lot of fun here on a Monday. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. We got Parker in the house. We got Kool-Aid in the house here, too. Pistons with a home game tonight. Are they? Yeah, they got the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
The Dubs.
I will be there.
Absolutely. Look at that.
First time at LCA this year. Me and my little brother, we'll hang out, watch a game.
Absolutely. Can't beat that. Guys, I want to get to some Lions talk. By the way, I don't want to say great, but it was a little awesome yesterday not having the Lions playing.
Relaxing.
It was relaxing, and it was relaxing, I think, because they came in off the win and are 6-2 instead of that loss 5-3. If they were 5-3 after a loss to the Raiders, you want to play. You want to sit there and you want to get back out there as quickly as possible. But it was nice to take a little breather.
Hell yeah.
With a 6-2 record. It was kind of nice.
Not to mention they're number 2 in the NFC. That was a great nap. And they stayed number 2, obviously, because of the Eagles. We'll talk about that. But, yeah, it's great, man. When you're sitting at 2 as a fan or a player, you're sitting at number 2 in your conference, 6-2, life is good. Life is absolutely good.
No doubt. I wanted to talk to this. Brad Holmes. Dan Campbell said today that the Lions are getting healthier. The 3 players that were out, they'll know tomorrow and how they gear up in the practice, but they all participated today, and it all looks good, trending towards the right direction to have them play Sunday at the Chargers, David Montgomery included. First of all, we said, Bray, key to the second half, get healthy and stay healthy. Yeah. If these guys can get healthy, that's step 1 in the process.
100%. Get these guys healthy. And part of getting guys healthy is, it's trusting the players. At the same time, it's also giving them a little push in the right direction if they need some. So they've done a good job sitting guys out. They could have had guys potentially play last week, I believe, but they said sit guys out. You get them for the next week when you play against the Chargers this coming week. So get guys healthy. Ease them back into the process. But if you see that they can go, it's time to get them back.
And I think, Maz, that's one of the reasons why they didn't put David Montgomery on the IR or Jonah Jackson.
They got him back an extra
Frank
week early.
Now, right?
We need those guys back, man. Do you know, out of the 8 games that they've played, they've had 7 different line combinations. 7 different offensive line combos. When they're playing their best 5, they are top 3 in the league. They have been patchworked all through this, and they still have 6 wins. You got to be happy about that. Could have had 7 if they just tightened it up against Seattle.
Definitely got to be happy about that, Maz. And you bring up a good point, getting guys back, Ryan Ermanni. See, now is the time, especially look at the way that the schedule is shaping up. See, this team hasn't had everybody play together. So now is the time to build chemistry. Now is the time to build cohesion going into, well, not in the playoffs yet. Let me not get ahead of myself. But as we're getting ready for that stretch run to win the division, to get into the playoffs, to host our first game at home, you got to get guys to understand guys like Jameson. Understand Jameson. You got David Montgomery. You'll get him back. You got to get David Montgomery now back. playing with Jahmyr Gibbs, who's now playing a lot better. It's on the defensive side as well. So the cohesion and the chemistry is what's very valuable right now because remember, this is still a young team and it's still a new team to a certain extent. Got to build that chemistry now so that when you're in January, you're not looking around trying to figure out what a guy is thinking and what a guy is on. You know what that guy is thinking. You know what's going without even having to talk to him.
You know, it's so important to get these guys all together. And again, they're coming up on a portion of their schedule, too, that is ripe for the pickings, man. If you can just somehow say, well, Maz, what did you say about the offensive line combinations?
7 out of 8 games have been different.
It's hard to win that way.
Yes.
And it just speaks to the depth that this team has. I wanted to play for you this audio from Dan Campbell earlier today. This is what he said when asked about what the team's goals are now moving forward.
December, we need to be playing our best football collectively and up to date. Like the Chargers, we need to play our best football game. We still have left so much out there, and as good as we played to get 6 wins, you know, we've been able to complement each other, but yet I would say we have not played our best football collectively, offense, defense, and special teams. So we got to play a clean game. You know, we got to come out with no turnovers. We need to get our takeaways back. You know, we talked about red zone and those things. We need a fast start in the third quarter. You know, so I just think cleaning some of those things up, our focus to the details of what we're doing, got to take another step up, another notch up.
Isn't that money?
Yeah.
They have left so much out there that by December, so that's 3 games more, they've got the Chargers, they've got the Bears, and they've got the Packers on Thanksgiving Day before they get to December. This week specifically, but over the next 3 weeks for sure, you want to be playing your best football going into December here, Braylon, when it really matters. And I think that is a great goal for this football team. Not play hard because they have been playing hard, but just put it all together. I feel like this team has not put it all together just yet.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see when they all put it together. And he's absolutely right. You know, when Dave Montgomery has gone off, Jared Goff has had just an okay game. When Jared Goff was going off and David Montgomery was hurt early on in the year, trying to figure Jahmyr Gibbs out, that didn't necessarily look good. You look on defense, they get some players healthy, they get some players back, they get some players injured. And also, playing your best football, how you get to that point, you start to play. Every play matters. Every play counts. It's no longer. It can't be the next play. It's got to be that play. Teams that are clicking on all cylinders, they look like the Eagles did last night. Teams that are not clicking on all cylinders look like the Dallas Cowboys. Damn good team, but you know who was a better team. That's what the Lions want to do. The Lions want to get to the point where you know they're not leaving anything out there. And if you don't want to leave anything out there in November and December because that's the difference between first and NFC, and it's also the difference between confidence. It's also the difference between have done it. If you do it, we can do it again.
Hey, go back to the teams in the 90s. The 91 team that won the playoff game. After that, all those Wayne Fonts teams, they all started getting hot around Thanksgiving and made their playoff push. The 90s Lions made the playoffs as much as any other team in the NFL. They only won 1 game, but they made the playoffs a lot. You forget about that.
Right, 91, 93, 95, 97, 99,
just like
5 times.
Yeah, like the Cowboys. And they beat that young Cowboy team that became a Super Bowl champion just a few years after that. Big triplets that were just starting. So this team just has to get healthy, guys. It's very simple, this game. If you're healthy, look at Joe Burrow last night.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow looks like Tom Brady. When he's healthy, he's the man. When he was limping on one leg the first 3-4 weeks of the season, we said, oh man, Joe Burrow's all done. Get healthy. Last year they were the healthiest team down the stretch, and they would have been a danger had they made the playoffs. Just get healthy. Keep your fingers crossed, Lion fans. That's all you got to hope for, because they got the goods.
It's funny you brought up that Dallas Cowboys team. I was watching the interview recently, and it was talking about, I think it was talking Jimmy Johnson. It was talking about how he had the jump in terms of the draft classes. When you come in out of college, you know all the players that you played against. You know all the players that you missed out on and picking up. Same thing with Pete Carroll. Look, when he got to Seattle after leaving USC. So I thought that was interesting. But, yeah, one of the other things about staying healthy, people probably think out there like, how are you going to stay healthy? If you get hurt, you're hurt.
Right.
How you stay healthy is how you come in for treatment. How your coaches has you in practice. Does he make you practice when you shouldn't practice? Does he lay off? Does he actually let you have too many free days off? And now you come back, you're a little stuff, and you maybe get a little strain or something. It's about the coach and the training working together, working cohesion with the player as well. That's how you stay healthy. There's certain things you got to do. You got to take care of your body. You got to do the little things they tell you. Coming in after practice for the stem. Coming in, ice your ankle in the morning or whatever is hurting. Get the ultrasound. You got to do what you got to do to stay healthy. It's not what they tell you to do. Like real players, true professionals, they want to take care of themselves. They're at the facilities at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. They're staying late, getting extra treatment and things like that. You're a part of that process as a player, and I think they understand that down at Allen Park.
Yeah, and, for the Detroit Lions to where they are in the season, to be 6-2 and not play your best football, that has to give you a little bit of confidence as well when you know that you're winning games and you're not really playing your best football. You can go in, not play your best, and just take a look at the Raiders game as an example of that. They had 3 turnovers, including a pick 6, had a touchdown called back, and missed a field goal, and they still won by double digits. Yeah. What Lions team do you know that could overcome all of that? Yeah. And a touchdown called back, by the way.
None.
So that's a pretty darn good place to be if you're the Detroit Lions.
I just want to say something about that loss to the Ravens. They're good. Look what they did to Seattle yesterday. They're good.
I was thinking about that yesterday too when they put a hurt on Seattle. It's like, does that change your mind about the Lions' loss? The way the Ravens manhandled Seattle, does that change the way you feel about the Lions' loss? Because I don't think there's too many people today that are sitting back calling Seattle a fraud or saying they haven't played anybody or saying that their season's over or they can't beat anybody. Nobody's saying that today about Seattle. They're talking about how good Baltimore is, but it's not about how bad Seattle is. I want to ask your opinion on that. We'll go around the NFL. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Feldman.
Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer with 18 locations. There's one in your backyard and in your neighborhood. Visit FeldmanAuto.com. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide fast, convenient, and first-class car service. It's called the Feldman Advantage. Do yourself a favor. Take advantage.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Outdoor Equipment Company, the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports, Michigan-grown, family-owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, SnowX plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Company has it all. You could buy it. You can rent it, all for 0% financing, delivered to your doorstep. OutdoorEquipCo.com, OutdoorEquipCo.com.
You know, just everybody that our resources that we have, we'll get him up to speed with the playbook here. You know, make sure he's good and healthy, and and then just see where it is. I mean, certainly we acquired him because we think he can help us, but I also want to make sure he's ready. Mentally and physically, he's 100% ready before we do that. So this week will be big for him. He was out there today, and then tomorrow we'll see where it's at and just kind of take it day to day.
And that was Dan Campbell talking about Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's
DPJ.
in the building. He is in the building. Get ready, get onboarded for the Lions this week. Will he play? Dan Campbell, uncertain. Does not want to put him in a bad position. Obviously, they traded for him so that he could play and perform for this team, but they're not going to put him out there in a bad situation. So we'll see how quickly he can get up to speed. Braylon, before we get to the Seattle and the Ravens game, I do want you to give me a comment on Donovan Peoples-Jones. You were Donovan Peoples-Jones at one time, traded midseason to the Jets from the Browns. How quickly did it take to get accustomed to the playbook?
It was some similar language from Cleveland to Jets. Took a second. First game we played was on a Monday night, thank God, so I got an extra day, actually, to study a little bit. Had a pretty good game, decent game. The thing about it is, man, he's a playmaker, okay? That's like Donovan's always been a playmaker from Cass Tech to University of Michigan to even in Cleveland. So he's going to be good. He is a playmaker, and you can put him in some spots early on that he'll be able to make some plays. The other side of that, too, in terms of the energy, Cleveland's a situation where the defense has been good for the last couple of years. Like, offense has had players they can't just have seemed to put together the quarterback spot, but it's just all the other things around Cleveland since Donovan's been there. You got Baker Mayfield and the OBJ thing. Then you get this thing with Deshaun Watson. You bring Deshaun Watson and everything that came with him and all the different allegations and all that. Then Cleveland's bad. They get rid of Baker Mayfield. It's just one thing after another in Cleveland. And, oh, by the way, you're losing. You're not making the playoffs. So to come from that city with that energy, it's down the street from your alma mater, and you get to come to a team that's 6-2. Just when I left Cleveland, they were 0-4. When I got to the Jets, they were 3-1. Complete different change. The energy is different. You see what they're building down there with the Detroit Lions. So he's coming in. He's like, yo, I don't know what I got to do, but I'm going to do it to make sure that I'm potentially part of this moving forward, because this is an audition. Like, this is an audition for the future. This is an audition for next year, too. So that's how I approached it. I said, I want to be here in New York. I don't want to be in no more Cleveland situations. I want to be a part of a winner with a coach that gets it in Rex Ryan. I'm looking around. I got players like Darrelle Revis. I'm like, oh, yeah, we could do something. So I made sure I tried to do everything I could to stay a Jet long term. So that's what it is. It's a tryout for Donovan Peoples-Jones. He makes some plays.
Hey, DPJ picked number 19 to wear for the Lions. I thought he would grab Marvin Jones a 0. I thought that's the number he was going to go get.
Nah, I wouldn't wear 0 after somebody just like retired. I'm cool.
Yeah?
Nah,
I would wear 0 period. I don't like 0.
I like 0. I wouldn't like it after somebody like just didn't have success with
it.
It's
a fad. Right. 0's a fad.
It's a fad number.
It's a fad.
It's a fad number.
19 is the number now.
19 would have been a
DPJ.
good number. Who's Keyshawn?
Yeah, Keyshawn was 19.
Was big 19.
Bray, talk to me about your feelings of the Seattle Seahawks getting walloped by the Baltimore Ravens 37-3.
I'll start with this. I'm damn glad I picked them in the Super Bowl. That was my Super Bowl pick, and it's looking good so far, at least out the AFC. Obviously, I want the Lions, if that's a possibility. But they just do it all, like with everything. Like, Ryan, they now can run the ball consistently. Like, their running game has struggled because every year their running backs get hurt. Their running game has been whatever Lamar Jackson can give them on the ground, whatever Tyler Huntley can give them on the ground. Now you got Gus Edwards. Now Lamar Jackson staying in the pocket. They won 36-7 or whatever it was. Lamar Jackson didn't account for one touchdown. Like, he didn't account for one touchdown, and you beat, at the time, was it number 14 in the NFC or number 50? You beat them by that much, and Lamar Jackson doesn't even count for a touchdown. So they are that good. They beat the Detroit Lions, and I know David Montgomery didn't play in a couple of players. They beat their ass too. So the Ravens are the real deal, and with 2 losses, I think they're the best team. With the Seahawks, I think you're starting to see why they paid, Geno Smith, what they paid him, not necessarily a huge deal, like a quick deal. All his money was for this year. They front-loaded it, got out the way, so they can move on from him. In the past, he was just kind of like a stop-and-save type quarterback that had a really good year last year. Like, now you're going to get in a situation where you're in that space. You got to make plays as a quarterback. Like, that's the next level. Like, he can only do so much, I think, a quarterback, and they're not running the ball with Zach Charbonnet. Like, he was a stop-and-save quarterback. There's nothing wrong with Geno Smith. He's just not that guy that when you're in a spot like that, it's tough. Like, that's the kind of quarterbacks that that Pete Carroll likes. He likes the quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, like Geno Smith. They're systematic guys so that you can build the defense around them. You can have a strong run game behind them. So it gets you in trouble when you face teams like that where, you need a dude, and Geno Smith just a guy.
I'll tell you, K9 was stopped, 17 yards for him. They couldn't do anything right yesterday, but they still got a hell of a secondary. They got another Legion of Boom, too, coming up, man. They're not going anywhere.
They're good.
You know what? That's a game that they lost. They don't got to see them again unless they make a Super Bowl, just like the Lions. I'm sure they'd like another crack at them if they can get them in the Super Bowl. But right now, they can put them in the rearview mirror and just keep going forward.
In all fairness, too, it's not like I turned on local Seattle sports radio today or anything like that, but it does feel like nobody's talking about Seattle in that game. All the talk is about Baltimore.
Right.
Whereas I feel like people were talking about Detroit in that game a lot more than they were about Baltimore, or just as much about Detroit. But maybe that's because at the time you felt like the Lions, really, I don't want to say hadn't played anybody, but they did play and beat Kansas City. They did play and beat Seattle when they lost, but nonetheless,
Yeah, the reason why they're talking about the Lions so much, Ryan, is because you did say that. You said they beat Kansas City, but they beat Kansas City without Chris Jones. They beat Kansas City without 87, Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Then they lose to Seattle. But now they still only have one loss, and they're going to this game, and it's the first time Detroit is number one on Stephen A. Smith's list. He's number one on Colin Cowherd's list, or number 3, wherever. So now you got this primetime game, 1 o'clock game against the Baltimore Ravens. We get to see if the Detroit Lions are real. And then they go out there and lay a goose egg.
Right.
6 points. They score 6 points. They get beat up. So now you're looking at them like, see, I finally let the Detroit Lions in, and this is what they do. So now they go back to the Kansas City game as opposed to saying, oh, yeah, no, they're just a good team and won. Now it's, well, maybe they beat them because they didn't have Travis Kelce, because they didn't have Chris Jones. Now that's the conversation. So Detroit has got to get back in the good graces of the people, but you do it one game at a time. And that game against the Raiders last week on Monday night, that's a hell of a start.
75-9, the 2 games Baltimore beat the Lions and the Seahawks. 75-9.
Doesn't this
that's tough
game against the Chargers feel like it's a turning point game in the season?
Yes.
Are you gonna be fighting for a 3 seed or a 2 seed, or are you gonna be fighting for a number 1 seed? Which way is your season gonna go?
Tonight means a lot. Chargers are playing tonight.
I think so too.
Tonight's game is a game that Lion fans should be watching with interest.
And they're going to get beat up too.
The Jets are going to be hard on them. So let's say the Jets do win tonight.
I think they're going to win tonight.
If the Jets win tonight, and they are playing the Chargers at the Meadowlands, if the Jets pull it off and continue this streak, the Chargers coming in off a loss, they go back home after a short week. The Lions get them at 4 o'clock in L.A. Half the fans there at L.A. is going to be Lion fans. Poor Chargers don't have any fans.
I wouldn't mind going that game.
You know what? I don't know if I want the Chargers to win tonight, so I feel a little bit better that the Lions could go and beat them. If they lose tonight, I have a hard time with the Lions beating them, and they're going to lose 2-3 in a row, the Chargers. You understand
they
what I
won
mean?
last week.
Okay, so 2 in a row if they lose tonight.
I understand exactly what you're saying. Both of you, this is a turning game for the Detroit Lions. You're coming off a win on Monday night, coming off the bye, and you're coming against a team, regardless of how bad Brandon Staley is of coach, regardless of how much they let you down on a week-in, week-out basis, talking about the Los Angeles Chargers, they still are star-studded. Joey Bosa had a hell of a game last week. They still got stars all over that field. So when you play against them, people are going to be watching. And the reason why I said, Maz, I'm not worried about if they lose or not. If they lose this game, now is the energy where you're like, we're not making the playoffs. We're not that good of a team. This is when the energy shifts during the season for a team like that. And it's not like they're coming home to home field advantage. Yeah. Nobody comes to L.A. and SoFi to go to Chargers games. They're the last team in the state of California. And we know who's number 1 is the 49ers. So when the Lions go out there next week, their energy will already have shifted to this is going to be another one of those years. And I think the Lions will beat up. I think Lions going to beat up on them.
When's the next time the Lions are going to be an underdog? Is it New Orleans at New Orleans?
No.
Is it at Dallas?
Dallas.
Yeah.
The Lions are a 1-point favorite against the Chargers.
Yeah.
It's already out. They're a 1.5
And it
point
should be.
favorite. So, I mean, this is probably as close a game to even that you will play for the rest of the
Vikings are
season.
gonna be tight.
Maybe, but I'm just talking about the Vikings are. Hey, give it to Josh
They
Dobbs,
keep
man.
winning.
I agree, but what I'm saying is this just feels like a turning point game in the season. And again, 7-2. 6-3, you just continue to separate yourself. Continue to separate yourself. You've got the NFC West, 5-3 San Francisco, Seattle at 5-3. And if you don't get the number 1 seed, you sure as hell want to get the 2 seed, because you never know what can happen in that divisional round. Maybe you will end up hosting an NFC Championship game as a 2 seed. You just never know. So that 2 seed is important.
The
as
1
well.
seed gets a bye. That's it.
Would you oblige me and let me do a cliffhanger and then send us to commercial?
Please.
Last night watching that Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles game last night gave me a feeling that I haven't felt in a very long time. We'll tell you about that when we get back. But first, a message from Hamlin Corner.
Oh, look at you. The Hamlin Pub.
Have you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular? We have just the place for you. Head to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone is a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on Thursday or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games, Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your favorite new pub for all things sports. Hamlin Pub, it's the bar that's making you feel like a regular.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Just sitting here talking about NFL schedule yesterday. Last night, Maz, or yesterday, and Ryan.
Great game.
And Kool-Aid and JB. The 4-15 game was the best game, I think, of the season. In terms of me watching and what it did to me. You guys ask me all the time about, playing the game and do you miss it? And I think for players, and when you retire, you try so hard to get away from it that by the time it's okay and you're done with being depressed that you're no longer playing, you're just, I don't watch it as much. But getting back into sports made me start watching it. But last night watching that game was the first time I missed that 4-15 kickoff. You're playing your rival. You go out there, man, and every play matters. Every inch matters in that game, pause. And then it's the second half, you come out, you make the adjustments. Just watching Dak, Jalen Hurts, who's the best, who deserves the contract. It's like watching the defenses. Is Micah better than Lane Johnson? You're watching competition at the highest level, and then you see the sun starts to set, and then it turns into night, kind of like that 3:30 college game in the fall. It was epic, and then you see it's a game of inches. Like Al Pacino said, any given Sunday. Al said that, so you got to get Al for that. But literally, Dak Prescott on the 2-point conversion. Dak Prescott misses on Ferguson.
Game of inches, man.
It is.
By the way, that was a touchdown.
No, it wasn't.
I'm just telling you. Listen, I know his knee's down, but when you're catching the ball, your body
Maz.
lines up with the goal line.
No, Maz.
That rule, it has to change because it's not a catch until you're down.
His knee was down and he was touched.
I understand, but
Man, just one thing. The name of the game, the ball has to break the plane. So if you change the rule, like if the body part breaks the plane, it'd be chaos.
What's the difference if you get in a 1 yard run and the guy's knee goes down short of the goal line, but he would have fallen forward into the end zone?
He's catching the ball. Two guys are gang tackling him.
What?
Gang tackling him.
Pause.
There you go.
They're bringing him down. Yes, his knee touched, but as your body has to continue to fall.
Maz, I love you.
It's a continuous.
Listen to me.
It doesn't end because your effing knee is down.
Hey, Maz, you know what I love about you? Every time there's a great game, and this is what I'm becoming to realize about you, and I love it. This is pure love. Every time there's something great, and there's one thing that happens, you now want to change that rule. Do you remember he would not stop talking about overtime?
I agree with the overtime.
But there's always something with Maz.
Look,
now what's this?
This is Maz.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you nicely.
Yes.
Every rule instituted in the NFL goes against the defense. We cannot, as a people.
This is true.
We cannot, as a society, allow a great defensive stand at the goal line where these defenders are selling out to keep somebody out of the end zone. We cannot penalize them too and say, oh, he would have gotten into the end zone if his knee was 5 inches or more.
Or if he wasn't
down. His knee was down. The ball did not break the plane of the end zone. It was a great defensive play. End of story.
Hey man, some rules are for the better.
And you cannot.
It's just like running track. You run a 100-meter dash. Like if your head crosses the finish line first, you do not win. And your torso has to cross the finish line.
Bull.
If that's the case,
Maz, for 200 years.
Maz, if that's the case, why not just give Dak Prescott the 2-point conversion as well?
He was close.
Because he stepped out of bounds.
He was pretty close though. He just barely stepped out of bounds.
It
was barely. Oh, it was only half a toe.
Fine.
Can I ask a question about that
Fine.
game now? Can I ask you a question about that game? I want everybody to answer.
You can.
Is yesterday Dak Prescott's fault in any way?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you first. I knew you would agree with me.
I'm only going to say he did one thing wrong. Take the sack.
But again, Maz,
he took the effing sack.
You can't take the sack in that situation.
I know that. He turned. He thought he was escaping. Little did he know that someone was waiting right there for him. He's trying to make a play.
There's four things he did, I believe. One we can argue about. 3 are non-negotiable. We're talking about. But the one thing we got to stop doing, we got to stop having these conversations about Dak. Because what I said before the season, he's not that type of quarterback. And I feel like we put the pressure on him or we hold him to I ain't gonna say Josh Allen no more.
He's just good enough to lose.
Exactly, but we should hold him like that. Because if you tell me that, then last night I can say, you know what? He had a good game. He had 335 yards. Right. He had 3 touchdowns.
Brought his team down at the end.
Yep, and he had 4 plays that blew the game.
Had 40 seconds to go at the 13-yard line.
Tight game.
But if you tell me
if you tell me $52 million, if you tell me that he's supposed to be the guy, if you got Micah Parsons cussing on camera defending his teammate, which I respect and I love, then you can't miss Ferguson when he's wide open. You can't miss Thompson in the back of the end zone. You can't not spike the ball. They didn't even give themselves 2 opportunities on the ball. They go up there, they run some dumb play, and now they have 1 chance left. And that's why you see CeeDee Lamb catch it. And then if you want to argue me about stepping out of bounds and saying that Brandon Graham, shout out to University of Michigan. If you
boy, did he have a that's winning time.
Michigan was all over the place. Schoolmaker. He scored 2. If you want to tell
Goddard's out.
Auntie Sharon watches our phone.
Wait till we start talking about the Texans and what Nico Collins did. But if you want to tell me Brandon Graham made a hell of a play and he pushed Dak out, who's not a running quarterback, I won't even argue on that one. Dak had a chance, and this is what he does. He can't deliver. He had an amazing game until, and you know what that means? He didn't have an amazing game. So I think he had a pretty good game for him. But at the end, like this isn't year 3. This isn't year 6. Like Dak Prescott, this is year 8 for you, year 9. You got to finally win one of those games so we can say, all right, he's worthy of arguing about for another year. Like, that's getting to the point where I don't want to hear about him anymore.
Man, Schoonmaker was so close there.
Yeah, he was.
Poor guy.
Yeah,
we love Luke Schoonmaker.
Gotta love Schoon.
Guys, here's what I want to do. I want to boast for a little bit. I finally had a winning record in the picks.
Let's go.
Okay. All of us were 5-2 last week.
3 weeks in a row.
Well, 2 weeks in a row for you, Bray. But
3.
So I picked up a couple of games. I am now 28-33-2. Braylon with a 5-2 week is now well over 500 at 32-29-2, and Maz is just
kicking butt,
crushing at 37-24-2. Maz, how is your survivor pool? Who did you pick?
I wound up going with the Browns. I had a choice between the Browns and the Saints. I went with the Browns, but had I thought about it, I should have went with the Raiders, because I knew the Giants were not going to be in that game. And now Daniel Jones out for the year with a torn ACL. Poor guy. Poor team. This team won a playoff game last year. They are one of the worst teams in the NFL as we speak. Tommy DeVito, who he looks like he can't even play for Michigan.
Crazy.
The poor guy. From Cedar Grove, New Jersey, by the way, where I was last night. They suck. I should have took the Raiders. The Raiders with Antonio Pierce as their head coach.
Yeah.
Let me show you a little video from their locker room.
Please.
After they won the game yesterday, this is what a relaxed, happy team does after a win, after getting rid of Josh McDaniels. Check out the Raiders. Victory cigar they're smoking. Every one of them is smoking a Victory cigar, guys. Having a time of their lives. They played like – the only guy that didn't play, of course, is what's his name? The wide receiver.
Jimmy G.
Devontae
Yeah,
Adams.
Devontae Adams. Still, I don't understand what the hell happened with this guy.
Yeah.
But he can't even catch – he can't do anything anymore.
Yeah,
Besides that, congrats to the Raiders.
They'll figure it out because Aiden O'Connell is a quarterback I saw when he was at Purdue. He had a lot of big games, big passing quarterback. I think Bell was a wide receiver that was playing with him. But that energy, man, we talked about it Friday. He talked about having Antonio Pierce, talk about where he grew up. He grew up in Long Beach County, in Long Beach, right there where the Raiders were popping in the 80s, the NWA, so that's his culture, that's his era. So he went there with that energy. Like, he loves the Raiders and he wants them to love him as well. But you know why it's like that? It's relaxation. Like, I've played for one of those Patriot-type coaches and Eric Mangini, actually, and Romeo Crennel. I've played the Patriot way, where it's quiet in the hallways, where coaches aren't interacting with the players, where you can't even get a meeting with the head man. When you guys start losing, he really starts to disappear. There's no engagement. There's no bringing you in. There's no player and coach continuity. And you're walking on eggshells. And you saw that out of the Raiders because you saw that frustration. Grown man and Devontae Adams about to cry on national TV.
Did you hear what Jay Glazer reported prior to the game about how it all went down?
No. I read about it.
Okay, so Jay Glazer says they had a team meeting and all these players laid into Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
And Josh McDaniels had Antonio Pierce step up before the team and speak on Josh McDaniels' behalf. Well, Antonio Pierce is talking about 2007 when he played for the Giants. And we believed we could win every game. We went out there and we had this belief in the system.
So
we had a
won it.
belief that we were going to win. We had a belief that we were going to go in and beat the big bad Patriots. We didn't care that the Patriots were unbeaten. We knew we were going to win that game. Well, after the players responded, after that, Josh McDaniels went up to Antonio Pierce and said, "Don't you ever talk about the Patriots like that.
You a-hole."
He's a bitch.
And so
Excuse
then
my
there
French,
was this
sorry.
real divide, and the players were rolling with Antonio
Absolutely.
Pierce. And ever since then, can you imagine what a little girly man with
He
a
is.
little wuss
He is a little-
Josh McDaniels
he's
is,
a
that where
little-
you can't,
He's a prick.
where like, don't you ever talk about, if
Yeah.
somebody stuck their finger up in my face
Yeah.
and said, "Don't you ever talk about so-and-so like that."
East Detroit.
Man, I know I live in Grosse Pointe and I wear fancy suits and I have makeup, but my East Detroit upbringing would have come out, and I would have let you know it. You know what I mean?
Him and Matt Patricia. They're two birds of a feather.
Oh, my
They're
gosh.
birds of a feather.
And guess what? Just like Matt Patricia did, what does Josh McDaniels do? He's going to put his tail between his legs. He's going to run back to his
the hell out of
here. He's going to run for a soft landing spot.
What a soft coach.
Soft
Go
landing
back
spot.
to the Patriots.
Brady made you, you
coach.
a-hole.
You know what?
Brady made you.
I'll tell you even one better. He wouldn't have been able to tell that story if you would have won the game.
Right. What a soft coach. I hate soft people.
Yeah,
I just... Don't be soft.
Especially in the football world.
God.
Like, that's the wrong place to
Come
be a
on,
soft
man.
guy.
All right, guys, we'll go around the league next. Some great games that happened yesterday. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has a ton of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world. Planet Fitness, it's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Hey guys, when it comes to your pet, you do not want to settle. That's why you want to give your pet the best. It's Premier Pet Supply, hands down, Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years, 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, even curbside delivery for you if you need it. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. Check them out online at premierpetsupply.com. Woof.
Look at you, man. With the woof. Woof. I love it. I love it. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway on a Monday. We got Parker in the house as well. Kool-Aid is with us too. Kool-Aid, you going to be down at the Little Caesars Arena tonight?
Hey, I will. Checking out the Pistons and the Warriors. You know, Steph Curry coming to town. It could be a long night for the Pistons.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Chuck Brewer on the chat.
Love Chuck Brewer.
He says, "Hey Maz, I just looked up Josh's career. Josh, of course, what's his name? From Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
His first coaching job was
Denver.
A grad assistant at MSU.
Ohio State. Oh.
MSU.
That explains it.
Thank you to Chuck Brewer for
You know
that.
what? Maybe Josh McDaniels would be better served in college.
Maybe.
It worked for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. Maybe Josh McDaniels. Maybe you might want to lop off a call to Josh McDaniels.
Maybe Chuck Brewer just hit it on the head.
If you're Michigan State.
I mean, hey, definitely worked for Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, everywhere he's been in college, with the exception of USC.
How are those gummies?
He's been successful. They're very good.
They're gummy bears, by the way. Gummies is different than gummy bears.
Sorry.
It's a Haribo gummy bear. Haribo gummy bear. Let's get
delicious.
a look. Tom Mazaway, let's get a look at the NFL.
All right.
Run us down what happened this
Hey, do you know
weekend.
the only team in the NFL that has won in 4 different countries? It's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Look at that.
How about that? They just won yesterday morning in Germany. They beat Miami 21-17. to 14. 21-14. They were up 21-0 in the third quarter. Dolphins come back, couple of errors by the Chiefs. Let me tell you about the Chiefs. And I've said this before. I'm not scared of the Chiefs. I am not scared of the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be scared of the Chiefs. I'd be scared of Patrick Mahomes, if anything. But
he's dinking and dunking.
He is dinking and dunking, but he's making it work. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not scared of the Chiefs.
He's running, too, a lot. Look out.
And it's working for him. So, but, yeah, you got to give him a lot of credit. He is that dude. We talked about the Dolphins. You know, they play the good teams. They can't make it happen, but that defense, that is one thing about that team that's gotten better. That young defense match for the Kansas City Chiefs, that's how they're actually winning games.
Yes, you're right.
They're winning through their defense, and Patrick Mahomes is making plays when it counts and when it matters. But when you start off like they did in that first drive, they set the tone in the game on that first drive with the touchdown. Did. So, yeah, it was defense, though. That's where they're much better.
Speaking of defense, probably none much better than the Cleveland Browns. Ooh. Jim Schwartz got another shutout, 27-0. They beat the Arizona Cardinals, who had a rookie quarterback in Clayton Tune from Houston. That's our boy Luke's guy.
I do wonder.
He had like a .5 QBR yesterday.
I do wonder why Jim Schwartz has not gotten another head coaching job.
Defense, that's what we talk about.
But he has been so elite defensively on one side of the ball. It has been so elite, whether it was with Philadelphia or Cleveland or hell, even his time in Detroit, he was pretty damn good. You know, with Sue and all these guys. I am surprised.
I like him.
And we'll talk about Houston in a little bit. Just goes to show you, if you've got players, if you've got a quarterback, it doesn't matter whether you're an offensive or defensive guy. DeMeco Ryans, he's a defensive guy. You got a guy that can play the quarterback position. It works.
Yeah, that offensive coordinator.
You know what I mean? It works. It doesn't matter. You don't need Sean McVay or Zach Taylor or Kevin O'Connor or Kevin O'Connell. You don't need these guys. Maybe even Ben Johnson. If you've got a quarterback, it works.
At the same time, too, if you're going to be a defensive guy like DeMeco Ryans or Schwartz, one of these guys, you got to hire an offensive coordinator that's a part of this young movement that knows how to get the passes out, throws the ball, and understands it, that you trust, so that you can just go focus on defense. Mm-hmm. You can't be a defensive coordinator, hire your homeboy to be offensive coordinator, and then micromanage what he does. You got to hire somebody you trust and let them rock and roll that side of the ball.
Hey, Washington beat New England 20-17. Two bad teams, but Washington better than New England. Bill Belichick's under 500. Without Tom Brady. That's what it is. We already told you Vegas beat the Giants 30-6. Congrats to Antonio Pierce and those guys. Minnesota and Atlanta, a great game. Josh Dobbs, here he is. Practice squad last year with the Lions. Tennessee picks him up, wins a game or two for them. He goes to Arizona, wins a few games for them. Yeah. They traded to Minnesota this week. He's got 4 days with his teammates, doesn't even know their names, never took a snap in practice, and gets the game-winning drive and a great victory by Minnesota, who wins again in a one-score game.
Shout out to Josh Dobbs. I mean, as a former player, like what he's done, what he did, like that, this is remarkable. And I understand what C.J. Stroud did, and C.J. Stroud had a hell of a day, and I'll let you get to that math. But it is not more impressive than what Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs has had to memorize 5 playbooks in the last year and a half.
It's amazing.
Like, legitimately was running somebody else's plays a week ago. Like, he comes down there, doesn't know the plays. He's in the game. They're teaching him the plays, or not teaching, wrong word. They're telling him the plays and the concepts, what the hell they want him to run it. And then he's an astrophysicist major, 4.0 at Tennessee when he graduated. Even his answer when he was at the podium was an overly intelligent answer. He was like, it's like, you've been studying for Spanish tests, and then they move you to to Spanish, AP? They move you to Spanish AP. And he said, then the day of the test, they tell you that the test is in French. I was like, I wouldn't even have thought of all that. But like, he's just a winner, is a good kid, and he just makes plays.
He's like, a winner.
Like, that's hard, bro.
Did you see the video of him on the sideline with all the offensive linemen?
Yep.
And he was like saying his cadence so they could hear him like go through the cadence on the sideline of an NFL game.
I've never seen anything like that.
On the road.
On the sideline of an NFL game.
On the road.
This is how I do it.
And Minnesota's not, and that's
unbelievable.
Minnesota's a game and a half back.
And by the way, they didn't have the best wide receiver in football.
Nope.
Arguably. They didn't have the third best left tackle in football.
Nope. And Osborne was out.
And Osborne was out.
Guys, one more I want to talk about before I got to get to a break, but that Tampa-Houston game, how about that? And the funny thing about that Houston game, I think the line in that was a 3-point spread.
2.5 to 3.
2.5 to 3-point spread. Houston scores the touchdown.
39-37.
It's 37 to 33.
Yeah.
Houston scores the touchdown. They've been going for 2 the whole game because their kicker got hurt.
There's 6 seconds left.
They take a knee for the extra point and win by 2, so they don't cover. Tampa covers.
You can't tell me that people weren't gambling. And I know they say, and I understand. We talked to Chad. And,
we all won that game because they kneel down.
100%. And that was another thing I laughed about. I looked up and said, oh, man, I'm 5-2. I forgot we all had damn near the same bet. So we all
had the Bucks.
Put up those numbers for C.J. Stroud. The best rookie performance by a quarterback in NFL history. The kid missed 12 passes, and he threw for 5 touchdowns. He got 5 touchdowns.
So he was asked about the S2 test that they knew.
Yes.
Now, it's not the Wonderlic test anymore. It's an S2 test. His response was, I'm not a test taker. I play football. And that is
the coldest
so great.
answer ever.
That is your... Now, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
And we can talk about this more tomorrow. If you're a Carolina Panther fan,
oh my God,
are you like a little we got the wrong guy kind of thing?
This could be Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf.
It very well could, or it could be Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers.
It could
be a guy that's going to win 2 Super Bowls and a guy that's not.
Right.
It's pretty good, but a guy that's not winning anything. That's what it could be. Because I don't think Bryce Young's going to be a bust, but I clearly don't think he's going to be as good as CJ. CJ Stroud is a dog.
He is. CJ Stroud,
and he don't even have anybody playing with him yet.
Nico Collins got drafted in the 2nd round. Tank Dell is a damn good wide receiver, and they got Pierce at running back. So I mean, they're not Pro Bowlers. But to your point, just wait a second. Frank Reich got fired from the Colts for a reason. Let's start there.
He got fired from the Eagles.
Exactly. And so it's like, do you have the right guy? Then who the hell is he throwing the ball to? Who is he even handing the ball up to? I ain't seen Tutu Atwell all season. You know why?
He didn't get fired from the Eagles. He left the Eagles. Sorry.
He left the Eagles to go get the coach job.
Sorry. Yeah.
So I'm just like, we gotta give him a second because I don't like the situations he's in. Like the man won the Heisman. And he won a national championship, and he almost got back to another national championship.
But fans don't care about that.
And I understand that, but you got to wait. At the same time, you got to wait.
You do have to wait, but when you see this kid lighting it up, as a fan, you're just like, oh, God.
You got to understand the whole thing, though.
Well, he's special, though.
It could be like Matthew Stafford and Mark Sanchez.
Ooh. I had Mark. You knock it off. You knock it off. I will say this about that. That Ohio State curse, it might be broken in the sense of Ryan Day's offensive coordinator. I don't give him any credit, but I got to. They're a different pass system at Ohio State than they were with Haskins and with J.T. Barrett and with Carlisle Holiday. Insert those guys here. They're a much different system, more of a pro-style offense now.
Message from Mark White.
Wait, hold on, let me pull it up.
Oh, pull it up there. Pull
there
it
we
up
are.
there. Pull it up there.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty at all? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates is offering. It's called their minute-by-minute listing agreement by Mark White and Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. That number again, 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility and meets success.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Bullseye Event Group. The Lions are on the road this week, but that does not stop you from buying tickets in advance for the Lions and Bears game on 11/19 and a Lions-Packers on 11/23. 2 games in the month of November you're going to want to be at. The official Lions VIP tailgate party. Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink inside of Shed 5. It's always a bash. Starts at 9:30 until game time. The official Lions tailgate back and better than ever. You can get your tickets, food, beverages, entertainment, all included now. Get your tickets online, bullseyeeventgroup.com, bullseyeeventgroup.com. All right, Tom Mazaway.
I just want to talk about the Sunday night game last night.
Bills are dead.
The Bills, well, they're injured, man. They are. And I think they've maybe reached the end. Or I don't know if they're a Super Bowl team anymore. Playoff team, yes. But, Braylon, you've been hitting it.
Yeah,
they've been going down little by little. Sean McDermott, little by little, he's losing it. They need a new influx. But I will tell you this. If you're asking me to pick one quarterback to take my team, I'm taking Joe Burrow. I am taking Joe Burrow. That's me. I don't know who would argue that, but
a lot of Patrick Mahomes fans.
I'll give you Mahomes. I'm going to take Burrow. Right now, I'm taking Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow's doing his thing. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the reigning, defending MVP as well as Super Bowl MVP, so I push back on that. But that Josh Allen and that Buffalo situation, you try to gloss over and get to that one, I can't do it. Sean McDermott is not it. I told you since the first time we started doing this show. I
told you.
And this one I did. Like,
I just like to say I told you.
Man, I'm messing with you.
All right.
You did say it in this one.
I'm joking. I don't.
You've never been a fan of McDermott.
Just
I don't
this
like
one,
Josh
though.
I don't like Sean McDermott. I don't like the team and how you have Josh Allen and never give him a running back? Like, how you never establish a running game? Like, Sean McDermott has been playing this one style of football since he's been there. It's whatever Josh Allen can do for us, we'll take it and we'll try to play some defense. Like, they're no longer number 1 in defense. They're no more in the top 10 in defense. They're no more in the top 10 in offense. They used to be top 3. Now they're in none of those categories. And also, Josh Allen and all that running around, and Josh Allen is such an elite athlete. I've seen this movie before. It was with Cam Newton. Remember how good he looked at Superman and opened up?
Never gave him a running back either.
100%. And they had Jonathan Stewart, but they ran him too much. All those hits, all those extra tackles, all those when you jump and you fall on your neck, it takes a toll on you when you're 6'6", 250. Josh Allen is 6'6", 250. He's starting to break down.
Can I say this? The AFC is loaded.
Yeah.
And every team in the AFC North right now is in the playoffs if the season ended today. I will say, in no disrespect to Jalen Hurts, the 3 best quarterbacks in the league right now, up through week 9, are playing in the AFC. It's Patrick Mahomes, it's Lamar Jackson, and it's Joe Burrow in any particular order. And those 3 quarterbacks, one of those 3 is coming out of the AFC.
Yep.
And that Super Bowl.
That's a fact.
The Super Bowl will be determined. I'll tell you right now, it's Chiefs, it's Bengals, and it's Ravens. One of those 3 teams is getting to the Super Bowl.
Oh, no, I was going to go.
And outside of that, it ain't happening. Those 3 teams are going to have
an
epic clash in the AFC.
Man, I agree with you about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, he's shown us. Year 2, he went to the Super Bowl. There's nothing really you need to tell me after year 2 he goes to the Super Bowl and that offensive line was that bad. But the reason I'm going to take the Ravens, I'm going to take the head coach, because I damn sure will take John Harbaugh over Zach Taylor.
Interesting point there.
Yeah.
Bray, get us out of here.
He's got him going again, Drew. He's got him going again.
Hell of a Monday.
This is true. He's
got him going again.
The more info you see. Look, first day, came in and had a good day. We'll talk some more about the Lions and what they plan to do ahead of the game against the Los Angeles Chargers on the road. Get into some more stuff of what's going on. Nothing really going on in Ann Arbor, so nothing to talk about. We appreciate you for tuning in. Appreciate you for watching. For my man Kool-Aid, Maz on the couch. It's my boy Park over there. It's my brother from another mother, Ryan Ermanni.
You know what time it is.
We are Ermanni, Edwards, and that's Maz. See you guys tomorrow.
See.